The Curse of La Llorona, which I am pretty sure I'm pronouncing it right, is a light connection to the Conjuring universe. And I'm going to touch on that in a little bit, but it stars Linda Cardellini, and it's just about a social worker who ends up literally bringing her job home with her when a ghost La Llorona attaches herself to her children. Now she has to find a way to stop the death of her children from coming. And this movie, upon initially seeing it the first time, I didn't mind it. I actually thought it was really good, but as I went back, I'm like, maybe I was fooled like a lot of these other people. So, yeah, I came to the conclusion that I don't know why I was blinded by this movie, but I guess certain things that normal horror films that aren't that good or just average, this one did better for me than it did with the other films. But in any case, one thing that you will notice going into this film is that it has a similar directing style to James Gunn, but it was directed by Michael Chavez, which I think that he was more than likely inspired by The Conjuring. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of directors do the same thing. They might take hints from directors that inspired them growing up or whatnot. But when you just blatantly kind of like do the same things and it looks like another director, I don't know, it just kind of like comes off weird. But in any case, this movie is riddled with a lot of predictable jump scares throughout the whole film, and there are some effective scares, but overall the jump scares just come across like that. I mean, you see it in the trailer with the umbrella and everything else and with the curtains and stuff. It's like literally that's what plagues this whole movie. And it just comes off really not great in a horror, in a technical horror type of sense when you compare it to other films. And I agree with the notion that it should have been shot in Mexico with Mexican actors, and it really should have dug deeper within the lore of La Llorona, and it probably could have did that a little bit better. I mean, taking place somewhere else, this movie really had the advantage to where it could have taken place in Mexico and had a all Mexican cast or whatever, and really could have just taken advantage of that whole aspect, but it just chose to keep it Hollywood, literally in a place that's close to Hollywood in California. To, you know, it's just, I don't know, they could have done a little bit better with that. And this movie, like I mentioned before, has a very small connection to The Conjuring. It has no bearing to the story and just comes off as like a desperate reach to connect to something, and it just doesn't have that connectivity. And just the whole thing of like, yeah, this priest dealt with Annabelle and now he's helping with this girl. It's like, it literally seemed like it was just shoehorned and thrown into the story to have a connection, when this movie could have been a separate movie all on its own with no connection whatsoever to the Conjuring universe, and it would have been perfectly fine. It wouldn't have made it a better movie, but it would have been perfectly fine. But just trying to connect it, it didn't fit. It was that puzzle piece that didn't fit, and they should have just left it at that. And the acting was good. I have nothing harsh to say about it, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. And I did like the look and the tone of the movie. The environments came off very creepy, but at its core base, it is just really your average, ordinary Hollywood horror film, and nothing truly special. Literally, it's one of those teen horror films that it'd be like, oh my gosh, we have nothing to do on a Friday night, let's go to the movies and go see this movie and be scared. You know, it's just one of those type of movies for teens. And it didn't hurt me as much as it did everyone else. I truly didn't mind it, but it wasn't a movie that stayed on my mind days, even weeks after it, where, like, you know, it made a big impact, because it really didn't. This movie is a complete miss. It could have been better. It could have done a lot better, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.